If you thought the first Jurassic World was dumb, its follow-up basically says, hold my beer. The first half of the movie is basically going through the motions, and one of the few things I appreciate about it is that the human villains reveal themselves pretty quickly, because it was pretty damn obvious what direction they were going to go. Yes, we have more characters intent on weaponizing dinosaurs, this time with a new species, Indoraptor, genetically encoded to follow a laser pointer and attack wherever that's aimed. So, in other words, a slower and much less effective bullet? When the Isla Nublar volcano erupts, we do get an absolute shit ton of dinosaurs, including new additions Baryonyx and Carnotaurus. And I'll confess, it is a little sad seeing all the dinosaurs that weren't evacuated die. But the movie really gets started at the mansion of Benjamin Lockwood, Hammond's previously unseen and unmentioned business partner, who, like Hammond in The Lost World, is seemingly benevolent but frequently overruled by his far more maleficent underlings. He's also got a granddaughter, because we need children in danger, and she turns out to be a clone because, well, I don't really know why. There's a top secret dinosaur auction involving arms dealers, which is a fun concept, and this is when we're introduced to the Indoraptor, and the movie basically becomes an action-packed slasher film once it gets loose. The movie is so absurdly silly, and when it seems self-aware, it's pretty enjoyable. The sheer amount of dinosaurs here is a lot of fun, but of course it's disappointing to see the movie revolve so much around one, and in particular, a fictional one. I also think that despite the amount of species, few, if any, have standout sequences the way we've seen with not just raptors and rexes, but even stegosaurs, brachiosaurs, and ankylosaurs. So plenty of options here, and this was maybe the toughest top 5 of all of them. I think there's a clear number 5, and it's the Brachiosaurus, which has a nice little scene, vaguely reminiscent of the original. Number 4, I have the Indoraptor. It's going to be hard for any fictional dinosaurs to be higher than top 4, I think. Has its moments, but also doesn't really feel like a dinosaur. Is able to use its claws and too much as hands, and the way it climbs, it just doesn't feel like a dinosaur. And I think 1 through 3 are quite close, but number 3, I'm going with what I will call the Pachycephalosaurus. Online sources refer to it as the Stygimoloch. There is some debate as to whether that's its own species or if it's a subspecies, so I'll just continue calling it the Pachycephalosaurus, even though it does have the spikes that the Pachy did not have in The Lost World. It has a very amusing scene here. It's a lot of fun to see that thing running around and charging people and charging through barriers. Number 2, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Some of the oddest usage of the Rex in all of the series. It shows up in the first scene. It shows up in the middle to fight a Carnotaurus, and then it also has an amusing scene with it sleeping where they have to get a blood transfusion from it. And then we basically don't see it until the very end as like a post-climax thing of where it takes out the villain, and that's nice, but the T-Rex could have been utilized better. Number 1, of course, the Velociraptor Blue is the true hero of the film. Takes on the Indoraptor, this time by itself, without the help of the T-Rex, without the help of the Mosasaurus. Blue's a really fun character. There's only one Velociraptor here, so we're sacrificing the pack hunting element of the creature, but still great. The movie ends in a very odd way that really wrote the filmmakers into a corner with subsequent films, considering the dinosaurs have now been set free to roam the American landscape. I remember leaving the theater thinking that this was one of the dumbest movies I'd ever seen, and the only way I thought the series could salvage itself would be if they went full schlock and went some absurd Planet of the Apes route. Why not if it's going to be this stupid? That's not quite what they did, though.